Hello! Welcome to episode 85 of the Chronicles of Nidum, run by us at Dice of the Beholder and streamed through the ever-accommodating, probably very tired and slightly angry with us at the moment, Heavyweight RPG. That's what you get for going to nap just an hour before your friends are going to be streaming on your Twitch channel. But yes, hello. Before we get into tonight, before we get into episode 85, which again, as I say it, blows my mind. Obviously a word about our sponsors. First, as always, is Loki Battle Mats. Loki Battle Mats sponsor all of the Dice of the Beholder's D&D content and some of Heavyweight RPGs as well. They're an award-winning UK-based TTRPG accessory creator. There are many books of battle maps, little, big, giant sizes, and their modular book sets are full of amazing artwork that are an awesome backdrop to any tabletop game, be it D&D, Pathfinder, or any other TTRPG. Search LOKE Battle Mats on Facebook, Twitter, all other social media, or if you want to see and purchase their amazing map books, pop over to lokibattlemats.com to purchase the physical ones, or DriveThruRPG to purchase the digital. Secondly, Blink Dog Dice, as always. We've got many examples of their dice in our dice trays, and you should too. There's always an excuse to buy more dice, especially from Blink Dog. We love them. Small UK-based or Cardiff-based dice creator. Blink Dog Dice is all one word. You can find them on their Etsy store.
I think we're okay.
What's the matter?
Our power just dipped.
Did your lights just flicker?
Yeah, there's like 50-mile-an-hour winds outside again.
It'd be pretty spectacular if your guys' power just dropped.
Well, it could do. If it happens, we'll... Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah,
the stream suddenly goes, that's why.
Yeah.
If it happens, it happens.
Yeah,
Okay.
the stream's going.
Yes. Cool. Right. But
No,
go
Eunice was yesterday. It's Frank or something today, isn't it?
go find Blink Dog Dice
I think it's Frederick.
on Etsy. It's all one word. And go show them some love and tell them we sent you. Not a sponsor, but Sirenscape provides the wonderful, amazing ambience for our streams and can for your tabletop games as well. Pop over to sirenscape.com, that's SYRIN, because epic games need epic sound.
You need to get AD to teach you how to do that Sirenscape blurb, because he fucking nailed it. It was beautiful when he did it. You sound so unenthusiastic, so blasé.
I think it sounds great, baby. Just ignore Greg.
You sound like you don't think that epic games require epic sound, is what you sound like to me.
Hey, baby,
Yes, my love?
can you go have a word with your son, please?
Which one?
The one inside me.
What do you want me to say to him?
That he's pushing the wrong way. If he wants to come out, he needs to go down, not out my side. Jesus Christ.
Say hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody!
I'm being beaten up by my unborn child. Ow!
Oh,
As highly
babe.
do.
Kick him out. Evict him.
I'm trying.
Get back on that ball.
Oh.
So, episode 85.
So they say.
Only 15 more away from 100, which is, I can't believe,
That's a lot of episodes.
that's a lot of D&D.
It's a lot of dund.
That's a lot of dund. And you
We
know
really have Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, you're nowhere near halfway through the story yet.
Oh god. We're halfway through our levels,
We
so
haven't
maybe
caught
we'll
an
just.
actual dragon yet, have we?
No.
Well, the automaton dragon.
Yeah, I'm like a live dragon.
No, you're right. Brian, I have a complaint to make.
One? The only one?
No, I have a few, but
Thank you, Ian.
for example, we haven't leveled up in like an episode and a half.
Yeah. About that. I was reading some old school source books, like, you know, the things that you used to have to spend a level to make a magic item, and there were spells that would take you back down a level and permanently reduce your attributes, and nothing
cool
could cure
stuff.
it. Yeah. So, episode 85 of Chronicles of Nidum. Last time on the Chronicles of Nidum, after...
You okay? I just find your recap so soothing.
You're really on the shitter today, aren't you?
Flat energy today.
I got the devil in me.
After discovering the beginnings of the ramifications of Quill's actions in Paras, when you met the two newly freed from their control elven aristocracy in the home of your friend in the south of the Empire, you then had to tell the story of her son's death to your aunt, Quill, who took it stoically and well, as you would expect from a woman of her bearing and poise and strength. But after explaining to you that your family had secretly been involved in the freeing of many slaves over the decades from the yoke of the Elven Empire, she then left you to your own business, as your friends and yourself had many things to discuss, and decided to take some time to deal with her son's death. You yourself, after then discovering the possible extent of the effects of your actions on the elven denizens of the Empire, ran away in the midst of a panic attack to spend some time alone in the nearby forest.
Just a little panic attack.
The rest of you being called to aid Guinevere in dealing with some strange occurrences in a neighbouring village, then discovered the one remaining elf, the old steward of that castle that had belonged to the two terrified and newly freed Marquis and Marquis and Marquise, who was staying with Guinevere. You then discovered he had not been freed from the strange green energies, the yoke of the Elven Empire. He was happy with his lot. He was happy in the knowledge that the elves were the superior race and nothing could dissuade him. It was then with a very good intuitive arcana check that Dice determined that the reason then that this steward and that some of the Inquisition, the High Inquisitor especially, still had access to their dark powers and still bore crystals that had not changed the same way all of the other green crystals across the Empire had, was because when they went through the ritual as youngsters, held by the Inquisition, they were given a choice, as all elves were. Bend to the will of the void, bend to the will of the nothing and be granted powers, or refuse the will of the void and have your minds taken over by it. Those who had had their minds taken over, once the crystal had been changed irrevocably by Quill's actions, had been freed. Those who had made the choice to serve them willingly still retained that evil taint to their soul. I knew it. It was then, Quill, while this was going on, you met some of the elves who had fled from that castle, fled from their old lives, and were camping in the woods after having a vision that they said all elves now had to travel north into the elven forests of old, where they would find a clearing in which was a tower and a wise old man living in said tower, one that you had seen in a vision previously, who would guide them on the next steps of their journey. After a long and cathartic conversation, somewhat, with an older elven woman who had a very pragmatic outlook on her new lot in life, you decided to spend the afternoon, possibly the evening, alone, meditating in nature on what your new responsibilities entailed. The rest of you, however, upon travelling back to Guinevere's house, found yourselves completely outstripped by the incredibly fast nightmare, carrying Oriana and Guinevere, who upon returning to the house and realising they had probably quite a while to wait for Dice and Ace to catch up, Oriana accepted the invite from Guinevere to join her in a bath. And so it is that afternoon, maybe an hour or so later then, when Dice and Ace finally get back to, or are arriving back at the town of Toulouse, that we come back to Oriana. Oriana, you are laying in bed, sun shining through the window, sheets draped across you both. Under one arm, hunched into you, eyes closed, just breathing softly, is Guinevere. You have spent your time fruitfully, passionately. And Guinevere stirs slightly now and just smiles up at you. Bonjour. I'm sorry.
Hello.
I did not mean to nod off.
No, that's fine. It's a bit of a compliment.
It has been a while.
Yeah, same.
I've been very busy. Pretty much since the last time I saw you. So it has been since the last time I saw you. There have been obviously a few in the village who caught my eye, but unfortunately, while I do not rule these people, I'm still in a position to help them administer the town, and it does not leave much time for pleasures, shall we say?
I suppose.
However, they have made it abundantly clear to me that since the subject of the giant painting in the foyer downstairs has returned, that I should take some time off.
You should. You shouldn't overwork yourself. You've done amazing things here. Reward yourself every once in a while.
Merci. There is more I could do. That is why your friend Quill's aunt is staying at the moment. So we can talk about what more we could do. Unfortunately, those plans are impaired now that the airships cannot fly as high and our trade is slowed somewhat by the loss of power.
I think if anyone could solve that problem, it would be you.
I have some ideas, small ones at least. We shall see. I have the money and the time, I suppose. Now that the Empire appears to be weakened. Possibly.
Well, yeah, it's definitely taken a blow. I don't want anyone getting too excited and thinking that we've got a massive step up now.
that is a problem for tomorrow. Oui?
Yes.
At the moment, when she looks around the room before her eyes settle on you, and she lovingly gazes into yours. At the moment, there are no problems.
Not right now. Not immediately in this area.
And just as she bends to kiss you, there is a knock at the door.
Damn it.
She looks at the door, and in a moment of uncharacteristic irresponsibility, completely ignores the knock at the door and kisses you anyway.
Hey.
Then she gets up, wraps a sheet around herself, and opens the door. It is one of the guards.
I make no attempt to cover myself up.
It is one of the guards who, upon seeing what is happening, immediately stands to attention and very...
I bet he does.
Yeah. In more ways than one, stands to attention and in it's very ace-like and begins like this. Hello, madam. Hello.
Suddenly addressing the ceiling instead.
Your ladyship. The other guards and your other guests have arrived. Guinevere looks back at you, Oriana, with a wicked grin on her face, and looks back at the guard. You will address me by looking at me when you speak, Jonathan. And as she says this,
I love her.
as she says this, and he lowers his head, she drops the sheet.
This is workplace sexual harassment. We shouldn't be supporting this kind of behaviour.
And just drops the sheet and walks back into the room, picking up 2 glasses of wine and filling them both, and putting one on the bedside table next to Oriana and sitting down, facing Jonathan. And Jonathan's like just looking at her, but making every effort to look up and then her, up and then her. Also, the preparations for the celebration are almost ready, Your Ladyship.
How old are you, Jonathan?
Hmm?
How old are you?
19. Why?
Jonathan's bank is receiving large deposits currently.
I just look at Guinevere and go, how long do you think we've got?
What, with your friends returning from the outskirts of town to here?
Yeah.
Perhaps 15, 20 minutes?
How long have you got, Jonathan? At 19?
As long as her ladyship says.
It's up to her ladyship.
Jonathan is beckoned into the room and told to close the door behind him. Ace and dice. I'm not describing sex.
No.
This is not this.
Describe the threesome.
Ace and
I'm just going to
dice.
ask him to braid our hair. It's...
Yes.
As you come back into the room. Sorry, not come back into the room. This room. You all walk in.
You're not going into that room, Jesus.
As you
Welcome to.
as you ride back into town, all of the people around, you see most people now are winding down for the afternoon, winding down for the day. You see a lot of commerce coming into the centre of town, very little coming out. People appear to be carrying all manner of food, drink, some carrying decorations, furniture. And you start to see the streets immediately branching off from the central town hall where you are currently staying, have been filled with tables, chairs. There are lanterns, these ones oil, not fairy, but there are lanterns being strung from lamppost to lamppost. And as the sun then begins to set and the shadows lengthen in the streets, just as you get back to the town hall, they are lit, and you see the beginnings of a beautiful and wonderful celebration start to take form in the town around you. Everyone you pass looks up, and they either nod, they smile, they wave. A couple bow. The kids just stare in awe at you as these two super shiny, super powerful armored humans. And
if Ace is noticing anyone bow, they're gonna tell them to stop. Just very gently, like, please no.
Is Ace still on the horse, and am I still flying, or are we now walking together?
I would say, if you want to be flying, Ace is still on the horse. If you want to be flying,
Yes.
Carrying two other horses.
Yeah, I'm still flying. It's much more fun that way.
okay.
I can fly. I'm having a great time.
I believe you can.
I believe.
I just got the dog's toy to play with him, and he's taking it off me and taking it to Greg.
He hasn't taken it to me. He just brought it in here.
Wow.
That's me then, isn't it?
So, if I see the children, like, looking shy, can I see... There's no, like, shops here, I take it. It's just a celebration being set out.
There are many shops, but they are like buildings as you pass them. There are no stalls being set up. It appears like a street party is being arranged. But there are many shops around.
Can I see any shops that would sell, like, sweets, like hard candy sweets, that sort of thing?
Yes, at least in the central part, most of the shops that you see are to do with food. So there are cafes, bakeries, restaurants, taverns. There is a confectioner, so there is somewhere you could get sweets from.
Themed returns.
So, yeah, Dice is like, forget the kids, look at the bakery. How many children can I see roughly, like, throughout the streets? Like, can I estimate how many would be in the area?
Yeah, I mean, you're quite an intelligent person. So roll me a.
You're quite an intelligent person. Thanks.
Roll me an investigation.
Praise, I thought.
Roll me an investigation check with advantage.
Okay. 14 or 19, and I have a plus. I have my character open. Plus 5.
Character sheets.
Yeah, 24.
24. Okay.
You gave me an advantage on an intelligence check, Brian.
Flying overhead, then, guesstimating how many people are in this street, which is quite full. Looking at the other ones. The other 4 streets and the little side streets, taking that into account. With the size of the town as you've seen it from overhead, all the farms around it, an average of those times, like obviously the square footage of the area that you're in. From what you reckon, a very good estimate would be there are about, or the population of Toulouse is around about 20,000.
Okay.
Of those, maybe 10% are children.
Like 2,000 children.
Mm-hmm. From what you can see right now,
yeah,
there are maybe...
It was more visible children, not like ones that might be hidden away in houses.
There are maybe 200 kids.
Okay, so I'm going
This
to.
is a big town square.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to veer off from the flight path above Ace and sort of drop down to the ground and make the wings disappear in front of the confectioners. And I'd like to walk in to the sweet shop, please. And I'm going to wave to Ace as I do it. But bye! Go into the sweet shop.
Carry on.
Okay.
Looking at Dice like she's lost her marbles.
As you make your way inside the sweet shop, then there is a beautiful young human woman standing behind the counter. She's maybe 18, 19 years old. Slender, very, very, very skinny. She reminds you in the way she walks of the dryads you met. Very, almost an instinctive grace, like she's dancing around the place instead of stepping. And when she sees you, her eyes light up, and she smiles at you, and she rushes forward, and she is like, "Bonjour, madame.
Bonjour.
How can I help you?"
I would like, if you can, some little bags of sweets to give out to the children out in the square. I think I could see like around 200 children, so perhaps a little more than that in case I encounter other kids, and maybe some won't want any, but I know obviously it's going to be expensive. But would that be possible? It's a lot of sweets for a small confectioner to have.
No, we make quite a lot of sweets here. Most of the people of Toulouse have a very sweet tooth. Now there is, I suppose, the freedom here to have what they were not able to have before. They are overindulging sometimes, shall we say. So yes, everyone has a very sweet tooth, and I am normally very busy all day. But I could... it would be very difficult for you to take the sweets to all of the children. However, perhaps if you let it be known that you had arranged for the sweets to be free for them if they come into the shop.
We could do that, and then I can return and pay you for what you give away. Would that work? I can pay you in advance, but either way, I'm not going anywhere, I don't think.
No, I will settle the bill with Our Ladyship, or discuss it with her.
Oh, no, this is from me personally. I don't want to do some. It's fine for it to come to me.
Very
Really?
well. A deposit then. 5 gold.
And I hand over 5 gold, like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying, okay, that's how much you handed over. Fine.
Okay.
So 5 gold. Mark it off. And what do you do then?
So I'm going to just walk out amongst the people in the square so I can see. Sorry, the dog keeps chasing his tail. I keep getting very distracted. I'm going to walk out through the square. Every time I see sort of children, I'm going to go over and introduce myself to the parents and to the children and hi, and let the parents know that there are some free sweets at the side if they would like to take their children and get them. If I see kids on their own, that's different, but for the younger ones who are with their parents, they'll spread word anyway.
Okay.
So that I can make sure it's not awkward and I'm hijacking people's children.
As you walk around, you do see that there are quite a few children unattended. If it looks like any of them are going to get into trouble, people bearing no familial resemblance to them at all seem to take them off the incorrect path and pop them back on the right one, send them on their way. It would appear that the children are allowed quite a lot of free reign to learn for themselves the boundaries of the town, and everyone shares the responsibility of looking after them while they're out, in the true sense of a community. Which would normally work, you think, in communities smaller than this, but there's a substantial amount of people here. It's strange that they've got it to work in a city this big. But work it appears to be. And at first, you try and tell them what you appear to be parents. They try and tell the other children. But you very quickly discover that it is much easier to tell the leader of these packs of kids running around enjoying themselves, who then manages to disperse the information around the other kids in the city quicker than you could have thought possible. And having made your way around the entire square, telling as many children as you could, see in record time a massive and quite orderly queue of children standing outside the shop, waiting to go in and get their free sweets. You do
My
at
contribution.
this. You do at this, however, see a lot of what probably quite exasperated looking parents, possibly slightly worried about the sugar rush their children are going to have later on in the day.
We're just precipitating a diabetes epidemic.
Free sweets. It's a festival. Children should have sweets. And I'm going to just wander through and see all the people and say hi to as many as I can and get to know the area a little bit and socialize and not feel like I'm going to be murdered at any moment. It's nice. It's novel. I'm enjoying it.
Revolutionary.
I find a pastry shop. I definitely buy pastries.
Ace, what are you doing?
Ace was going to continue down, sort of shyly asking people to stop bowing and just carry on head foot to the I want to say castle, but it's not castle, is it? Abode.
The hall, the ladyship's hall in the centre of town. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I wanted to inquire with anyone there if they have a blacksmith going or not.
Okay. Roll me a perception check. Ace.
If it will release. There we go. That was a 12 plus 5. There we go. 15.
15.
Yeah.
Okay. With that then, even as you get to the town hall, you can hear, even over the din of all of the people milling around you, wishing you well, talking to each other, laughing, you can hear the rhythmic hammering of metal on metal, of hammer and anvil. And instead of asking around, as it does seem quite busy in the town hall, you move your horse away and down a quieter road.
I was going to stable up the other two that I was ferrying as well, though, first.
In doing so, on your way, you do find what appears to be the stable for the town's guards' horses. You see some guards already there, having made their way quicker, knowing the place, of course, making their way there a bit quicker than you. And you find them there outside, and they wave you over, recognizing you from the recent journey. They take the horses. Yours seems reluctant to let you part, and is kind of has taken a shine to you.
It's like a friend.
But eventually they are led into the stable, and you are allowed to then move further past the regular blacksmiths, ones who would just create shoes for the horses, ones who would then... I want to say farrier, am I right?
A farrier is someone who creates.
There
horses.
we go. So
Shoots
past
horses.
the farriers, past the tool makers, until eventually hotter fires burn, and you can feel the heat rising from all of the buildings around you, and hear the hammering going on within. And you see then, hung up on the outside to cool in the night air, you see suits of armor and weapons.
Do I need to roll perception, or can I see the quality of what they're making?
Again, with this one, make me a perception or an investigation check, but with advantage because of your background.
Oh, I just rolled a 20 on that. So.
Oh, yeah. All right, cool. That's fine. Okay. As you're going through, then, there are... And you can pick these out almost instinctively. You can pick the normal ones out almost instinctively. There are what appear to be the apprentices' suits of armor, the apprentices' swords. While quite good, it seems the apprentices here are quite adept coming along. They are not the finest armor and swords you've ever seen in your life, but they will do. They will suit for their purpose. As you progress down the road a bit further, you start to see much, much finer. And we're not talking more decorative, though they are, but you are beginning to see masterwork pieces of armor. The finest swords. Some finer than what your father could make, and you know your father was a master of this craft. And upon the door of one of the blacksmiths, you do see a very familiar hammer. And it's not etched into the door. It appears that the door, while made of wood, has had an intricate pattern carved out of it. And then the door has been laid down and what appears to be molten silver poured into the pattern. So that the wood is encompassed inside the beautiful metal rendering of Mjolnir on the door of the blacksmith.
Mjolnir.
Mjolnir.
Right. I'm gonna head toward that one then. Go inside.
Okay.
Piqued my interest.
As you open the door then, there is some very loud rhythmic hammering. It is incredibly fast. Faster than you think a mortal could hammer metal on an anvil. But when your eyes adjust to the gloom inside the blacksmith itself, you see that there are two very, very heavily muscled dwarves, topless, just sweating in the heat. But they appear to have turned smithing into a dance form. And as they both stand there, a hammer in each hand, there is a third dwarf holding in a pair of tongs a glowing, almost white-hot, what looks like blade. And as these two topless dwarves stand either side of the anvil, it is a very quick 4-beat rhythm, bum 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 bum, as they bring the hammer down. Only just so quick, they're only just missing their friend's hammer, who's brought down just half a second before, and it is a constant rhythm.
I know that this is very impressive, and Ace will find this very impressive. But the M brain is like this is a gay dwarf EDM bar, like thudding dance music, shirtless boys.
Yeah, there's two high as fuck gnomes in the background dancing lights with their hands like that.
just stand
Slow down,
playing through the
Maurice.
hammers. Yes. What serious note? Ace will sort of admire until they are sort of reaching a point at which they might acknowledge Ace, because they wouldn't want to interrupt a
Okay.
good woman.
A few minutes pass then. The blade is heated once more, turned, and it is done so quickly that their arms continue to spin to keep their muscles loose. Even while they're not hammering, the blade is replaced on the anvil and the hammering begins again. This time, it is much finer. Taps along the edge, as if they are ready to almost finish the blade. And only a few moments later is the blade then removed from the anvil and is eventually quenched. And you can smell it now as the heat from the blade sends a long gout of flame up out of what appears to be the tube that they are pushing the blade into to quench it. It is being quenched in oil, not water, as your father would, unlike other lesser blacksmiths that you've met along the way. And as this then happens, the blade is quenched in oil and is taken out, and the older dwarf takes the blade out to admire. The two topless ones lay down their hammers, take a rag from each of their belts, and begin to wipe the sweat from their brows. It is then that they finally turn to you.
Greetings.
Greetings, tall one. They both say at exactly the same time. And it is now in the light from behind you. Now your eyes have really got used to the gloom. You can see that these dwarves are identical.
I'm gonna ask, are they twins?
They are absolutely identical. They only have very short beards, which to you, you have some knowledge of dwarves. From experience, you'd place these two as very young. Maybe for a dwarf, maybe in their 30s, which for a human would be the equivalent of late teens.
Yeah.
But they look incredibly young. The beards are very, very short compared to the older one at the back. The beard is down to almost his knees, is tucked through his belt. And it's got like shocks of white through it. These two boys are very like vibrant ginger beards.
They're babies. I was brought here by the carving on your door. It's very particular and very familiar to me.
We can see that. And they point at your armor and your like everything about you, and the hammer on your hip, and it's
I was hoping to speak with the smith that owns this establishment. Would that be yourselves, or would that be your elder?
It is our grandfather. He is not a moment. And they both turn around and you can see them. They start to weave intricate patterns with their hands. And you've seen sign language being spoken in Nidum before. However, this is strange, and it is very strange to you because none of these signs seem to make any sense. Until...
I was going to say, would the Nidum language thing come into play here, or would it be separate?
You can. Make me an intelligence check.
Okay. Was it 2, so I don't think we're getting...
Okay. What languages do you speak anyway?
In my regular languages, I believe Dwarvish is one of them. I'll double check.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dwarvish and Gnomish.
Okay. You do, after a moment watching them sign to their elder, standing behind them, still studying the blade, you do get the idea that their sign language is not in the common tongue, which is the one you would know more of.
Yeah.
You get the feeling it's very probably in Dwarvish, or at least a dialect local to them. But unfortunately, while languages were taught quite prolifically in Nidum, they wanted everyone to learn as many languages as they could. This many translations, they're trying to do that in your brain, is a little bit too much. And you do just wait until, after a few of the gestures come back, the two twin brothers turn around in unison. Our grandfather is pleased to meet you and asks that perhaps once the celebrations are complete and we are not so busy, that you return and he will speak with you, if that is okay.
I'll directly address the elder and just say, that would be fine. Thank you very much. And then nods at the twins and make my way out. Because I would assume that being as old as he is, he would probably be able to lip read. And if not, it's still polite to address him directly.
The twins do not turn to even attempt to convey your message to him. So you get the idea that if he couldn't lip read, they would have.
Yeah.
And as you turn to leave, you do catch the old man nod to you respectfully, and there is the ghost of a smile on his lips as he goes back to studying the sword that he's made.
Yeah. On the what I'll do then is I'll head back towards the hall. But if I do spot any apprentices that look like they're struggling, or like any are sort of like flapping about or anything like that, then I might offer help.
Okay. Roll me a perception check as you go back then.
Okay. Yeah, it's only 14.
You are almost back in the town before you do spy, kicking the outside wall, standing down an alleyway, kicking the outside wall of the blacksmith in frustration. You see a small, very slight figure. He is maybe 13, 14 years old. Not young for an apprentice, really. But he is soot-smeared, covered in oil. There does not yet seem to be that much strength to his limbs. But he is very frustratedly just standing there, kicking at the side of the blacksmith, mumbling to himself. And as you approach, he turns, and expecting to see someone around about the same height as him, is quite taken aback and has to look up.
I'm not very tall.
Bonjour. Hello?
Oh. Is he having a bit of frustration there? What's troubling you?
I cannot... I am a lot smaller than the other blacksmiths, and I cannot wield the hammers for as long as some of the other apprentices. I tire quicker, easier. I also find it easier my breathing when I am inside. My chest tightens. I find it hard to breathe a lot. I have always found it harder than other children. I always tire easier than them.
A sort of kneels down a bit more to that level. Just sort of like puts a sort of a light hand on their like shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Do you love this craft? Is it something that you strive for?
Honestly?
Hmm?
Honestly?
Yeah.
The smithing, no.
And what is it that you do?
I have not shown anyone, but I have ideas for. I have ideas for armor of a different design that I think would allow people to move more freely. Have you seen a beetle or an ant or an insect? They are armored, oui. And some of those insects, they have that armor in segments, and as they move, the armor folds and allows them to bend and gives them flexibility and mobility because the armor moves over itself. And while they are still fully protected, the armor is segmented, and it's.
Yeah, I get exactly where you're going with that. Seems like a worthy endeavour.
I have all of these drawings, but as I cannot prove myself in the creation, I am afraid that my ideas will be rejected by my masters.
At that point, Ace is gonna sort of gesture to some of the architecture around them, or like some of the more ornate buildings. So, you see these buildings?
Really?
They're very extravagant. They're very well thought out. Someone had to put a lot of thought into having them stay up so high and have them be so sturdy in dire weather. A lot of the time, they aren't the same person that built them. So maybe that could be a path for you. But in terms of armor, someone that works out all of the ways that it will work and all of the structures without having to put in a lot of the heavy work.
I will. You are suggesting I show my masters my drawings and my ideas?
I'm happy to be a little support if you need it.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Very persuasive. And that would be 10.
10.
Yeah, not
Okay.
like I said, not very persuasive. So going from the Ace is a complete stranger that's come up and started spouting dreams.
Okay. I will consider it. Perhaps.
Definitely have a sleep on it. See if anything comes to you in your dreams.
I will. Thank you. I'm sorry that I do not know your name.
It's Ace.
Ace. Oui. I am Philippe. It is a pleasure.
Very nice to have met you.
Thank you.
I'll be staying over there if you do need to call for me at all.
And he looks at where you're pointing, sees the town hall, and is like, "You are staying with Her Ladyship?
Yes. She's a...
You are we are having the celebration for this evening.
Possibly.
One of
Ace looks a little bit like embarrassed.
you are what the reason the town exists, and we have our freedom. And you see his eyes light up. You are the reason I am free to dream and have these drawings and have these plans for my future.
Yeah, Ace feels a little bit more like humbled by that and sort of accepts and just nods.
Then of course, Ace, I will show my masters my drawings straight away. You must be right. Thank you. And he rushes off to immediately go and get his drawings from his home.
Good luck.
He's gone.
Yeah.
You have no idea if he heard you. He's gone.
They're gonna chuckle to themselves as they walk back to the hall.
Okay. Oriana.
Hi.
You, Guinevere, and Jonathan were given a lot longer than 20 minutes. And it is then, as Jonathan is...
Fucking wheeled out on a stretcher.
No. Easy on him.
trying to find all of the bits of his armor that have been cast haphazardly across the room.
Before he goes, just whisper, "No one will ever believe you."
As he eventually
Old Bill Murray on him.
realizes that it's been a couple of hours now and he should probably get back to his duties.
Just hand him bits of his armor as I find them.
He is not embarrassed. He cannot stop smiling,
I bet.
but he's not embarrassed. His embarrassment, or any embarrassment, or awkwardness kind of fled very quickly. But he now bows very deeply to the both of you. Merci, madame, mademoiselle. It has been a pleasure. But I am afraid I must return to work. There is a celebration happening.
No, that's fine. You get back to your duties.
I hope your stay with us is a long one. And he just opens the door and closes it gently behind him as Guinevere again gets up from bed, groaning half-heartedly, not really meaning it, but moaning that she also then has to go back out and leave the bedroom.
Yeah, I've already started getting dressed.
She begins to dress as well. And Dice, Ace, downstairs. You meet...
the guard come downstairs.
You meet downstairs. Ace back from your wanderings and Dice back from being invited into people's lives. As they pass, there's already people beginning to sit at some of the tables and have an earlier meal. Those with younger children who need to get them to bed earlier, but still want to be part of the celebration. There's food being brought out constantly from local kitchens. And people invite you to sit with them for a minute, 10, and they just thank you.
Yeah, I hate that and immediately change the subject to the children, or how much I like the hair, or that's a nice table. You know, anything but the thank yous. I hate that.
Ace is going to feel very awkward about it, but a little bit more humbled after speaking to Philippe.
They all very quickly understand, which is why most of the thanks are not very effusive. They're not crying or like hugging you and wailing and about their trials they went through and how much you've saved struggle. Their future. They understand your embarrassment, But you do see every once in a while, even after they thank you, there will be a gentle pat on the arm of a stranger who walks past and a small nod. And as the word thank you begins to, they realize the word thank you embarrasses you, a nod. It seems to be a collective understanding. People will come and they'll take your hand. They'll nod and smile. But you can see in their eyes, as tears do begin to well but never fall, what that nod means.
Yeah. I smile politely and nod back to people and spend quite a lot of time inspecting tablecloth.
Ace is just gonna sort of smile and nod back and just
Smile away, boys.
pat Dice on the back. Just be like, it's okay.
It is then.
I hate it.
It is then after you pass the bakers, and instead of having to pay, you are many different pastries of all different types, savoury, sweet, are thrust into bags and pushed into your arms with, again, a nod and a smile. It seems word of you has spread.
The ginger one's really awkward.
But word of you has spread, and laden with pastries, you make your way back to the house, or the townhouse at the centre of Toulouse. And you see coming down the stairs a familiar guard, Jonathan.
Bonjour, Jonathan.
Bonjour, Madame.
Is the afternoon?
And you can see he's holding his helmet like under his arm.
Hairs everywhere.
His hair is a bit disarray. Has
he got the parade from 500 Days of Summer is behind him?
Mm-hmm. He's glowing. There is a glow about him that is difficult to miss.
Can I make a nice insight check against what I think might have caused Jonathan to look so happy?
You absolutely can.
Thank you.
He's a man now.
It's only 16.
A 16?
Yeah.
He's not hiding it. Yeah, 16's enough.
You happy about the whole situation?
Right here.
There is, like, as
If it was by Oriana, it's a distinct bite. She has fanged teeth.
As he is standing a lot straighter. He is holding his head a lot higher than he was when you met him this morning. Even in your presence, he is no longer kind of curled in on himself. And as he straightens up, you can see that there are the marks of passion about his person.
I love how carefully you worded that.
His buttons all wrong. And
Yeah, he's got his thing.
just like,
To your eye, Ace, because Ace is a different sort, and looks at the world a little differently than their friends. You do notice very quickly that it appears his armor is not strapped on correctly.
Shoulders higher than the other.
It does appear his armor is not strapped on correctly. For someone of his frame, the straps should be done up tighter. In fact, for someone as adept as he at wearing armor, as you noticed earlier on that day, the straps of those armor should not be showing at all. And you are, Ace, slightly confused as to the reason for this, as Dice just grins next to you.
the perception is not there.
That looks like a good afternoon. I don't really mask that I've guessed what's going on, so I'm just like...
Just give Dice a confused look.
It was a very good afternoon. Perhaps if you're all staying tomorrow afternoon, you could join us.
No.
It's got ballsy.
But I love the confidence on you. It's great. Keep trying that, but probably not with me. Or Ace, who has no
Like,
idea what we're
walk up
talking
behind
about.
him, having heard that.
Yeah.
Just gonna lean forward over his shoulder and go, that would be like fucking my sister.
And he does kind of...
You muted, Greg.
Step Dice, what are you doing?
He cocks it... He kind of cocks his head to one side and just whispers to you, Oriana, she's not my sister.
Ace is caught up.
Yes.
This guy.
Ace is there.
Smack him on his ass and send him on his way.
And he does, with a spring in his step and a chuckle, call
Ace
two
can't
more
look
guards
at it
over to
anymore.
calls two more guards over to him, and they flank him, and he walks off. And you can see them kind of whispering forward, like probably asking, where the fuck have you been for the last 2.5 hours? What is going on?
Having the day of my life.
But all you can see is he's shaking his head, and he's not saying a fucking word. He's just shaking his head and smiling, not saying a word to anyone.
Do not tell.
Nice.
He's
Oriana.
You can with it is unspoken that if he starts to spread rumors and stories around, that might not happen again. So he's going to keep stum at this point, just in case.
Ace is just avoiding all eye contact with him and now Ori, and just like going a little deeper shade of beetroot.
I would like to turn to Ace and just go, sex. Just to see what happens and what colour Ace goes.
Ace is just gonna defeatedly put their head down. Just be like, oh, no.
I pat them on the shoulder. Ding, ding, ding.
I didn't catch on so quickly.
And that's why we love you.
Did you have a wonderful afternoon, Oriana? Restful, I hope.
Sometimes.
Oriana,
Yeah.
Yeah.
as you are talking with Dice, there is a heat coming from one of your pockets. Not an unbearable one, not painful, but there is a familiar heat.
2 seconds.
So, how has everyone's weekend been?
Sorry, Waffle was chewing something he shouldn't be.
Yeah, sorry, there's a familiar heat coming from one of your pockets. Familiar in that the last time this happened, it was someone trying to send you a message on a sending stone.
I pull out the sending stone. Hello?
Not missing another party.
Oriana, are you free to talk?
Yeah? Of course.
It is best that you find somewhere private.
Okay, give me a moment. And I'll go and try and find somewhere, like, outside, around a corner or something. Where there's no one else hanging around.
Guinevere, as you are speaking, turns and goes, I will go to the rest of the celebration and show face if you wish. You can all
Yes.
upstairs.
Okay.
As the celebration is in your name, perhaps you could show your face at some point?
Yes. I suppose that's only fair.
She takes
I
your
gave
hand.
free sweets to all the children from behind.
She takes your hand, Oriana, and acting like a courtly gentleman, puts one arm behind her back, or the other arm behind her back, bows very low, kisses your hand, smiles, and then walks away into the crowd.
Right. Upstairs then, I guess.
Sure.
Let's go.
I follow.
You all make your way upstairs then into one of the sitting areas, and you hear again the message with the sending stone, Oriana. Your friends are all with you.
Yes.
Sorry. you all have them put their hands on the sending stone.
Everyone's got to touch it. Who am I talking to?
Oh, sorry, it's Natasha.
It is Natasha, right?
I'm there.
Oh wait, Quill's not with us, is he?
No.
It's everyone bar Quill.
Close your eyes.
Okay. I'll close my eyes.
Okay.
Draw back the curtain.
Do not resist.
Resist. Okay.
Natasha, this is going somewhere I'm not comfortable sharing with Ace and Dice.
Do you trust Natasha?
Yes.
Yes.
Don't
See-
trust you.
Okay. So as a warmth begins to spread from the sending stone up your finger into your hand and then up your arm into the rest of your body, are you a willing participant in the spell being cast by the stone or an unwilling?
Depends what the spell does.
Are you a willing participant in the spell you feel being cast by the stone or unwilling?
Just to clarify,
I
we're
am
not
willing.
speaking with Natasha, but Natasha, they're asking if we trust them.
No. I'm asking if you trust Natasha.
Yeah, I trust Natasha.
I see.
Like, yeah, go with it.
Okay.
Sure. Go with it.
As you close your eyes then, and you feel the spell begin to take hold, a mist falls over your sight. And as you open your eyes again, trying to clear the mist, darkness surrounds you. Until out of that darkness come the faces, the torso, the rest of the body kind of lost in the mist of Natasha, father, and the abdicated prince.
Hello.
Okay.
As you look around, Natasha and father look the same as the last you saw them. The abdicated prince looks as if he is aged in the last 3 days, 10 years. He is gaunt. His eyes have dark rings around them, bags under them. He is tired. He looks exhausted. He looks on his last legs. However,
What happened?
there is a smile on his face.
What
As
in
he
the nine
sees
hells
it.
has happened to you?
It is a pleasure to see you also, looking so well. I know I have been quite busy over the last couple of days and I've let myself go, possibly, a little, but I thought I looked better than this. But I thank you for destroying any illusions of self that I had. It is good to see you all well. Well, where is Quill?
Having a panic attack in the woods. It's a long story.
I believe I know some of it. If what I have determined is true.
Are you showing your true age now?
He kind of looks at him. He looks down at himself. No. Let us just say I have had... when did you leave? You left... 1, 2, 3...
Just over 24 hours ago.
Yes.
5 days ago. No.
No, it's been about 36 hours.
Yeah.
I have not slept since you left. I have been awake. I have tried to nap here and there, but there was always something. A lot has happened, transpired, and I believe it was perhaps something to do with you.
Might have something to do with the crystal heart being broken, yeah. So when you try to sleep, is it because people keep waking you up or because something is waking you up?
People. I am sorry. I get it of myself. Father, you have called this meeting. Oh, sorry. The rest of them call you Father. Niklaus, you have called this meeting. Please.
Actually, I call him Daddy, but...
And you can see the prince very tiredly chuckling to himself as he just kind of holds his head in his hands. Niklaus turns to you. I had hoped to find Quill here.
I can pass on the message to him, but he needs some time at the moment.
Well, I wanted to thank you all, but especially Quill, for doing more for our cause. More for the Empire, more for every living soul in these lands than we have managed to do. More in a few months than we have managed to do in centuries. You have, overnight, almost single-handedly crippled the entire Imperial army. You have removed the relative power of the entire aristocracy. The ruling class no longer exists in any real sense of the word, or the word's ruling class. What once was a chain around the necks or wrists of many people in the Empire, that meant the removal of which meant pain of death, those are now nothing but fancy bracelets.
How far-reaching was this?
Well, that was the good news.
Oh, Joey.
Your Grace. And you see the prince just kind of sit back, straightens himself up. Well, it is a long story, much has happened, but we have word from 3 different fronts that the Elven armies were manning. The front protecting us, or what I believed was protecting us from Carpathia, but was more like warmongering. The front against Gracia, and the southern coast of the Empire protecting us against an incursion from Aegyptus. Those armies were made up predominantly, let us say, 2/3 regular army, 1/3 Inquisition. We have received word from the front that the Inquisition has disappeared overnight. Those who, as we have all seen, lost their power, deserted. Those who have, how you say, or we are led to believe that some have retained some semblance of the power that they had previously. The officers, it would appear, have gone into hiding. This has happened on all 3 fronts. Unfortunately, this means that while the peace with Gracia has been long-standing and almost something of a joke. We think perhaps as soon as the Grecians are sober enough to notice, they may think it is high time they invaded and took some of their ancestral lands back. Then, of course, there is Egyptus. We never know what the different kingdoms of Africa are going to do, but they are, and have always been, incredibly powerful. So we can expect perhaps a retaliation or message from them quite soon. Carpathia, unfortunately, it would appear half of the force that was left of the regular elven army, regardless of any feelings or want of desertion that they experienced when they were freed from whatever spell my people have been under for so long. They were, or at least their training, held strong, and they did not desert their post, though I wish they had in these circumstances. It would appear their Carpathian front has been decimated.
Oh.
They came at night. The darkness, reports from the survivor said the darkness has moved, the shadows took form, the land rebelled against them, the beasts of the forest became rabid and ravenous. And when morning rose, half of the force had been slaughtered. The other half have pulled back further into the Empire, and darkness spreads from Carpathia.
Great.
Most of the elves from the towns, cities, the rulers of local duchies, the landowners, all appear to have deserted and vacated their property. The economy of the empire is in a meltdown. There are no business owners to administer the businesses. Yes, all right, we'll call them what they were. There are no slave owners, which is a wonderful thing, obviously. But there is no one giving orders. There is no one maintaining order.
None of the humans are stepping up.
Well, there are some, of course, but our empire has done so much wrong for so long that very few of them have the education. And while I wish for them to have it, I would freely have the entire human race of the empire freely given whatever education they require, to be equal to everyone else. This has happened overnight.
Nicholas, Father, we know there are some human encampments that are trained the art of war. We are aware of that. I know that that was a plan for the future. Perhaps those people be of use now. I know that you were looking at different circumstances, but obviously things have changed dramatically.
I have had an old friend who is free again thanks to your actions reach out to me and confirm that as long as they are given amnesty, which I believe is the least they can ask for, and he looks at the prince, and the prince nods vigorously. At least there are denizens of Nidum more than happy to take on certain administrative roles, at least in the running of things. A smooth transition of power, shall we say.
There are also, even within Parat itself, there are humans who do have the skills, self-taught though they may be. You just need to reach out to them, I think. A lot of them would listen. They could see the changes that you were trying to make before we blew up the world. Some of them would be willing to help, I suspect.
My human staff, the moment, of course, all of this happened and the world started to change so drastically, the first thing I did was give them their freedom, give them leave to go home and obviously take care of their families in this time of chaos. The riots lasted almost all day, and I did not want their families to be in any danger or for them to be worried. An hour later, every single one of them returned to the palace with their families and asked me what I wanted them to do to help. And honestly, it was perhaps one of the most touching things that has ever happened in my entire life. And you can see him now, his exhaustion. You can see, like, he's at his wit's end. And even in this dreamscape you appear to be in, like a kind of fantasy FaceTime. You're in a fantasy Teams meeting right now. Yeah, you're on fantasy Discord.
Thank God. I hated the fantasy teams meeting.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm on that.
Quill's very glad he's not there.
Fantasy teams thing, I swear to God, I quit.
But you can see like a tear start to run down his face as he truly feels the weight of like the last 36 hours come crashing down on him.
Your Highness, what of the Inquisition? Many of them were not affected by the breaking of the heart, although we suspect we know why, which we'll tell you in a second. But many of the Inquisition were not affected. Surely they could
As the ones that disappeared from the front lines appeared somewhere else.
My guards, the palace guard, the city guard, we have managed to maintain some kind of order. They, almost all of them, are experiencing the loss of the years, the disorientation. Many of them believe themselves to still be 13 years old and waking up from a horrible nightmare. However, most of them, even before the ritual they were subjected to, were still loyal to me, my family, the crown. And in seeing the new direction I wish to take the empire in, they have once more sworn loyalty to me. And unlike the rest of them, or their families and relatives, who all appear to be going on some strange dream pilgrimage to a forest, they have decided to stay in Paris to try and maintain order, though there are certain factions in Paris making it very difficult. One of those we thought would be one of those factions was the Inquisition itself, but after checking the Inquisitor's mansion, admittedly, most of us did not want to spend much time in there. There is a feeling that you do not want to stay there very long.
No, that place needs to be blessed and burned.
However, it would appear all of his possessions have been packed up and he is gone.
Okay. What of your brother?
That's what I was going to ask, yes.
He has taken a faction of the army from Gracia and disappeared.
Oh.
He
Your brother hadn't gone through the ritual yet, though, had he?
I do not believe so, no.
Hmm.
There is not much we can do to help immediately. We are planning to go towards Gracia,
Yeah.
but it will take us some time to get there. We have a place to visit en route, and we can't leave until tomorrow at the earliest, I think. Even if we could, it wouldn't make a significant enough difference for you guys.
It'll be around a 2-week journey, was it, Dice?
Give or take, depending on places we stop and...
You are further from Gracia now than my army is. You would still reach the capital of Gracia weeks before my army could. My army have no choice but to walk. Boats, most of the boats, there are not enough to carry them. And their airships, well, they may as well put them all back on the water.
Why is your army still heading into Gracia?
It is not, but they are protecting the border. Did you say you are going to Gracia?
Yes, that's sort of the end destination at the moment.
I have a request, please.
Yes, go ahead.
We are attempting to send diplomatic envoys to our neighbors. We are still trying or determining how to get one into Carpathia alive. We have already had word that the envoy from the south coast has already taken an airship. They will be in Egyptus in perhaps 2 weeks. Please, if you can speak to the rulers, or at least start a channel with Gracia, so that we may prevent a war on 3 fronts.
Was part of the plan, I guess.
We can try. We can't promise anything.
There is a great deal to do. The very good suggestion from Niklaus is to take the empire in a new direction.
I don't think you have much choice.
To do away with the royal family. And instead, the empire will be ruled by a council.
That sound a bit more fair.
There will be a representative of every race that lives in the empire.
Good. Did you speak to the captain?
A face appears in the conversation. It's the matron mother.
Oh. Hello.
Bonjour.
She stands and places a hand on the prince's shoulder. The matron mother, wherever she is in the same room as the prince. No shackles, no chains, and has a smile on her face. Guten Tag. It is good to see you all.
It's good to see you too.
Don't let her make outlandish demands from you.
She said sorry.
Yeah.
My spiders have had eyes on this abdicated prince for quite some time. He is it is agreeable that he will be a member of the new council. It will ease the transition, and I think all of the elven peoples will need to be recognized as members of the Empire for this future to have any chance.
You should ask people of the races to nominate those they would like to see on the rather than selecting the ones that you think would fit, including the prince. No offense, Your Highness.
Well, that really is why he is here. We have asked all of the elves that have not fled the cities and the towns who they would nominate, and they are all loyal to him.
It's fortunate, really, that he kept his sanity for as long as he did.
Though he does not wish the role. And you can see him again with his head hung in his hand.
Well, that's his decision to make.
I'm just so tired. So very tired. You keep making demands of me. I'm very tired.
Let him sleep.
Or at least meditate. I'm not sure sleep is really necessarily a requirement for you.
They are right in the demands they make of me, my family. The Empire has done a great many things that I wish to make up for. Please, I will sleep once we have hammered out the details of everything.
No. You're going to be better off getting some sleep first before going through making decisions. So I highly suggest you take your captain and lock yourselves away somewhere for a bit. And get some sleep.
I think if they're locked away, sleep will not be.
Like his eyes widen slightly. He kind of looks at everyone else in this.
What's that sleep?
Fantasy Discord call. I am in love with my sergeant at arms of the palace guard.
If it helps, they don't care.
He knows. He has also said he has similar feelings for me.
We knew it.
And everyone in the call, Niklaus is nothing, no reaction whatsoever.
No one cares, Prince.
The matron mother smiles. Like Natasha looks like she's into it. Like she's like, okay. Tell me more.
Just grinning Alec down. Mimic a ball.
Natasha be like, on an unrelated note, I have something important to do in Paras right now.
You better go back right now.
Turn the ship around.
She seems quite satisfied in her lot in life at the moment. You can imagine that her Bastian and Stevan are quite close.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
he's seeing that no one cares. The prince is kind of strangely, I feel more awake, and like there is less of a weight on my shoulders. Thank you.
But get some sleep, or some rest, or meditate, or something. And in the meantime,
take a bath.
We know that the Inquisition have not been affected, and everyone else seems to have been affected. What about the Knights?
I have a question around that part of the Inquisition. I assume they haven't been affected, but
they're independent. If I remember rightly, they're independent, a third party.
No, I thought they were the Knights of the Inquisition.
They're not all elves,
right?
They are part of the Inquisition.
Yeah, they're the Knights of the Inquisition.
Most of them are elves. The majority of them are elves. There is a rare occasion in which someone could be, someone from a different race was accepted into the Knights if they showed psionic potential.
Your Highness, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Were any of the Inquisition affected by the breaking of the heart, or did all of them remain with their powers? Their abilities, their swords, whatever.
We have had dealings with quite a few of the Inquisition soldiers. They appear to not remember much of the years with the Inquisition. They are as fearful as the rest of them. With a few, we had our doubts, but it would appear the majority of them, we have no reason to disbelieve their lies. They are in the same boat as most of...
Believe their lies.
Disbelieve them. They are in the same boat as others. They have all... they have shown their... How you say... We have discovered, obviously, I do not know if you knew, but each elf who went through the ritual had a piece of jewelry with a...
We know.
Of course, you already know. I forgot who I was talking to for a moment. But it would appear that those members of the Inquisition, without any power anymore, they also have lost the green from their crystal. It is now more quartz.
It's not true. No power. That's not true necessarily.
Some have actually awoken.
Some elves are showing elements of druidic magic. It stands to reason there could be other types that were superseded by this agreement with the Nothing. Also, be careful. We met an elf, steward of Verka, who was clearly still in agreement with the Nothing and had willingly accepted the deal that was put forward, and is now locked in a box, but that's a whole other question.
I suppose that explains this. He holds up his fist. And while in this call everyone's limbs have been kind of ethereal, breaking into mist, the facial features being the only real thing that maintained any kind of detail as you were all talking, he holds up his fist and it begins to glow. And there is a white-blue light.
But you didn't go through the ritual.
Thrusts his fist out of view. And you see a surprised eyebrow raise on the matron mother's face. She goes, "That was a 2,000-year-old vase. If you are going to show off, you'll have a training room, yeah?" And the prince just chuckles to himself. "I got frustrated yesterday and punched a hole in a wall."
Turns out you do have some magical ability.
You didn't go through the ritual in the first place.
No, but it would appear that even though I did not go through the ritual as an elf or one of my race, it would appear that the crystals had the side effect while they drained the vitality of humans. They also prevented any elf from having any kind of connection to any natural magic that they held. Mine is still not the natural magic of, I suppose, the Fae, but I have been told that there are others out there who can also use their hands to punch ghosts, as it was described to me.
Nerd. All right. Well,
Are you saying there are others of my race that you have met that have other powers?
Yes.
We've come across one. She's displaying being a druid, really.
but the first steps of.
Yeah. early day druid.
The magic she should have.
You feel, Oriana, a hand, gentle, rough-skinned, but gentle, starting on one shoulder and sliding across your shoulders until it grips one of your shoulders gently in a kind of loving caress. And then
Not a creepy caress.
you see a form appear next to you in this conversation as Guinevere's face appears.
Speak of the devil.
Is this a private conversation, or can anyone join in? And even as she asks that question jokingly, she then looks around the room, or around the darkness that you're all in, and kind of, oh
shit.
Well, technically yes, but actually,
your grace. She kind of bows to the other prince who's standing there.
Sometimes I forget your royalty. It's
I told
okay.
you we were friends with the prince.
This is a friend of mine.
Cousin? What are you?
Oh, you know each other.
Of course we know each other. She's my aunt's daughter. If anything were happen to me, she is, and my little brother, she is the next in line to be queen of the empire. Well, not queen anymore, but...
You never mentioned that.
I do not like to use my family connections to get ahead in life.
You were
Wait.
married to some... Okay.
Wait. Guinevere, you successfully run a town of around 20,000 people, give or take. Mostly humans, with respect and kindness. There's a party going on in the streets at the moment. I think you might actually be welcome in this conversation. Possibly more use than us, to be honest.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, this is very much your area of expertise, and I think that your cousin would really use some help. And I say that like nice kind smile, but
Tell him to get some rest.
I've never been able to get my cousin to do anything he does not want to do. Especially
Why
when
did you
it
keep
is,
telling him you'll do it?
especially when it came to a certain captain of the guard.
Oh no, he's done that.
Oh, oui. Congratulations. When is the wedding?
priorities. The world is in chaos. Wedding after the chaos.
Yeah, the more kind of stoic and serious members of this conversation have just taken a step back. It's like, what the fuck are we? What are we doing? Like,
Look, if you can't have fun and discuss light-hearted things alongside the death and destruction, we're all going to go mad.
We gave up on that a while ago. We were getting a little bit, particularly after I died.
Wibble.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
so the rumors are true. You have ceded a small part of the empire for yourself and removed it and made it a free country for humans. And Guinevere just kind of bows. Big grin on her face. No, I definitely require your help. I think. Please. Please. He just shakes his head. Please.
Oh, bless you.
I will help in any way I can, cousin, of course. There are some other things that we need to discuss, possibly in person. Niklas, how far away are you? Perhaps midnight, Your Grace. Please. Jean-Paul.
Marcus isn't with us anymore.
I'm aware.
He jumped ship. Literally.
Yes, he
It
jumped.
was hilarious.
jumped off yours and appeared on mine.
Handy, that.
And you just hear from over in the corner of the conversation, I think you mean ours. Natasha is just holding up a hand.
She's written her name on it somewhere.
Niklaus is like, ours. Yes, of course. We will be there by midnight, Your Grace. Let us start as we mean to go on. Jean-Paul, I am not Your Grace any longer. Please.
Can I call you JP?
Oui, JP.
JP! I'd introduce myself, but you already know me, so I know where to go from.
If that is, I'm going to go to sleep.
Finally, thank you.
Bet you can't. Bet you end up meditating.
You will go to Gracia for us?
Yes, we're going anyway.
Bit of a circuitous route, but we'll be there as soon as possible.
Merci. You can
Go.
perhaps save hundreds of thousands of lives by doing this, if you do it well.
No pressure.
Go to bed. I
Okay.
look at the matron mother and I go, you leave him alone.
Hang on. If we manage to make a deal with Gracia, right? We're thinking, actual paintings, but we need one of Quill this time, okay? It's a priority. I'm kidding. Go to bed.
And the prince disappears. Guinevere kind of looks around. I do not know who the rest of them are, but
Oh,
she's quite attractive, if a little severe.
that's Natasha and
She's pointing at the matron mother.
the matron.
That's my future mother-in-law. Keep your hands off.
Yeah, that's future mother-in-law. That is the matron mother. Next along then would be father.
That's not what you call him.
No, I was just going to say, or as I like to call him, Daddy. And then it's Niklaus. His name's Niklaus.
I will not be calling him daddy.
I mean, I don't. It's not in a. It's just because it's funny. And then next is Natasha, who is a very good friend.
Bonjour. Ça va? And Natasha just kind of looks back at her. Oui, ça va bien. Et toi?
Are you flirting with all of
Oui.
them, Gwen?
And they just kind of nod and smile at each other. And then they both look at you, Oriana, and they both look back at each other. Gwen raises an eyebrow. Natasha nods. And then they both just kind of smile at each other. There's an understanding between them. They get it.
Yeah. Oh, he's just grinning. I think that's everyone. There's nobody else, is there?
No one else in the call, no.
No. So, these are our other freedom fighters.
We're no longer freedom fighters. I think we are the Council of the Empire.
You're going legitimate. You won't know what to do with yourself.
Oh, I think I'll have a great deal to do.
Are we okay to carry on just sort of flying around doing the things we're doing? Because I really don't want to be on a council of anything. Thanks.
I don't want to be making decisions.
Oh, God, no.
Okay, if you're happy with us making the decisions. We might need to call on you from time to time. You do have the fastest means of transport in the Empire.
True. Yes.
We're happy to help, honestly.
If you ever wanted to give that back,
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't think so, but there's no harm in asking.
We gave you the big one.
Yeah.
We could have kept the big one, made you go on the smaller one. Would you have liked that? No.
No, this one came with quite a lot of wyverns.
Ace could have flied. Flew. Flied?
Flown?
Flying?
Flown.
Flown.
Doesn't he have boots that allow... Didn't we give him boots that allow him to do that?
We gave them boots to do that, but they don't wear them.
Yeah,
We have
I
a
need
lot to do.
attune them, but then I would have to unattune something.
Right, it's one of those.
You know, we're supposed to be at a party in our honour.
Yeah, you all look like you need some rest.
And Father disappears. Natasha kind of looks. The matron
He
mother
seems kind of
disappears.
grumpy.
Good night, Natasha.
He is grumpy. Da.
When
Why-
is he not?
Why is he grumpy on this occasion?
Because he was not one who saved the entire human race from empire.
Oh god, the man's
He is
jealous.
little grumpy.
Or him.
Tell him that's
He is
petty.
little grumpy that did not need him in the end anyway.
Well, but they need him now. More than ever, I think.
Oh, I know, but obviously messages keep getting left in office, joking that guess we didn't need you anyway. I don't know how they keep getting in there or who leave the messages, but I am definitely wholeheartedly attempting to find the culprits.
I'm sure
Then-
you'll catch them.
Yes, imminently.
When it stops being funny, I'm sure it will stop.
Thank you, Natasha.
Tell him
Hey,
to stop
hello.
being a grumpy dick.
Hey, ask if the messages show up like attached to arrows by any chance.
Now that'll make it Clint.
I could
It is
absolutely.
Clint.
It is not Clint, but if I wanted to make it seem like Clint, I could definitely tie the message to an arrow before I shot it in there.
Disappointed in Clint. I thought he'd be involved.
Sorry, I answered that as Natasha, then, and Quill's not there, so that entire conversation didn't happen. I apologize.
Yeah, no, I was. That's why I said someone should ask.
Yeah.
No.
But yes, good night. Enjoy new or old bed partner.
Both.
I just like my bed partner.
Enjoy.
Bye.
До свидания.
Good night.
And Natasha disappears as well, and the connection is broken. And you're all sitting there in the sitting room. Well, all apart from Quill.
Faintly hear a noise of doo-doo.
So, party,
Everyone
downstairs.
leaving at once. Doop, 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 doop.
Party?
So, party?
Party.
You know my cousin?
Yes.
We
Spent
stole
quite a
his
lot of time with
shit.
him. Spent a fair amount of time with him in Paras.
Stole his boat. Changed his entire worldview. Corrupted him, some might say.
Do you think
Got him
perhaps...
to help us.
Do you
Oh,
think...
he was our patron during the gladiatorials.
We have a lot to discuss in the party downstairs. Do you think perhaps your friend should be informed of anything?
I can get a message to him.
Let us go drink, eat, be merry, and forget about our worries and our strife. What the fuck? I keep going Disney. I did Lion King like 3 episodes ago, didn't I?
You all head down. I will get a message to Quill and I will join you.
Okay. Come, Dice Ace, please. Follow.
Party! And I follow with like happy skippy footsteps. Nothing's going to bring me down today.
And I'll do a quick sending to Quill. That's party in our honour at Town Hall. Would be rude not to attend. We miss you. Hope you're okay.
I assume I can reply to this.
You can reply to that message.
I suppose I'll be right there.
Head downstairs and I get a drink ready for him.
Cool. Okay, so before we go into the party, we're going to have a quick break because it's 5 to 9.
Good, because I'm going to kill this dog.
Cool.
When you don't want to do that on stream.
When we come back, we'll
dinner.
have part 2 and a new pair of slippers. But yes, please stick around for part 2. Hope you've enjoyed part 1 so far. We will be about 10-15 minutes. Catch you in a bit.
Bye.
Hello!
Ah!
Welcome back. Yes, to part 2 of the Chronicles of Nidum, episode 85.
Doesn't have to shout, does he?
I don't. I'm sorry. I apologise to everyone who considered that to be shouting.
Just me then.
But yes, episode 85, part 2. Where we left off, you had just had an impromptu fantasy Discord council meeting with some members of what would now be the council that ruled the empire or made decisions for better or worse going forward.
Anyone else concerned that they're about to be attacked by a large red dragon?
No.
There are no dragons left alive.
That's true.
Um,
Unless those kobolds have found some great tar.
You have found...
Great hour at the restful station.
He liked that, didn't he? I tickled him there.
You have some new information and wanting to share the information and the hopefully quite fun party atmosphere that was being prepared for you downstairs. You left Oriana to send a message to Quill, who then agreed to come back to town. Quill.
Yes.
Do you go straight back to town, or do you check the forest before you leave? What do you do?
No, I mean I'm gonna make my way back, but I'm definitely gonna make my way back in quite in quite a leisurely fashion. And Quill's like wandering around, like, you know, when you don't want to go to work, so you take the most circuitous route through town to get to work that you possibly can. You're like, I'm getting my steps in. That's what Quill will do. He'll start making his way back towards the manor, but very much like looking for anything that could possibly distract him. Keen eye open for side quests. Any villagers having an argument loudly, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Someone chasing a dog that's stolen their sausages. All of that sort of shit. He's very much in a mood to be distracted.
Okay. Unfortunately, none of that is happening.
Piss.
As you walk back, then, it is at a leisurely pace. And it does take you at a leisurely pace from the forest you just got to. It takes you a good hour to get back to the centre of town. But as far as you can see, over all these rolling hills and all these vineyards, work has completely stopped for the night. Apart from you and other wildlife, you can see some night birds circling overhead. You hear a bat or two in the darkness. Apart from you and just small amounts of wildlife, you are alone as you traverse these fields and these hills. It is only when you get back to town, really, that you see where everyone else is. And the party is in full swing. However, as you return to town, everyone looks at you. They smile. They nod respectfully. But there are very few people immediately approaching you, embracing you, shaking your hand. No one's thanking you. Everyone you pass, they acknowledge you, they smile, and they carry on with whatever they were doing. They seem to be keeping a distance.
Okay.
Until one old lady walks up to you, drink in hand, but it is not for her, and holds it out to you.
To what do I owe this pleasure?
Here we go.
Many of our residents have been told of the wonders performed by your group. Particularly some rumours of the things you have done, Sir Quill.
It's just Quill, actually.
It is not. This party is not a celebration of you and your friends. This party is a celebration of freedom and life. And the wonderful future that someone did a good deed and helped us obtain. You should enjoy yourself in the knowledge that you are not responsible for anyone's happiness here this evening. No one's but your own.
Excuse me, may I ask who you are?
She smiles at you. Her ears lengthen a little. Her wrinkles deepen, and the familiar face of the elven woman from the glade last night, earlier on today, return before she looks human once more. I am a friend of a friend of a friend of Buck.
I see.
He is working on it,
I understand.
but he would have you know that no matter where your journey takes you, he can reach you from there.
I understand that, and I know to what you're referring. It isn't as simple as whether Puck can reach me or not. It's a matter of where I can do the most good to those whose lives I've affected.
And I agree with you wholeheartedly, but I believe your friends may have at least a new or some idea for you on that front.
I'm not taking any. I don't intend to take any actions without consulting with my friends, of course. They're very wise, and
There are many ways to help,
perhaps.
and I'm sure you will find one suited to you. But tonight, no one needs your help. At least not immediately. Not any you could, in your capacity, help anyway. So, take leave of any responsibility. Drain that drink, find yourself another, and enjoy the party.
Your wish is my command.
Trust me when I say, someone who does not know how to party would not last long in that court.
I take your meaning.
Have a good evening.
Good evening.
And she walks off. Do you drink the drink?
Yes.
Okay.
Though I'm very dubious about it.
Okay. So you
I
drink.
will sip. I'll sip it initially.
Okay. Cool. It is a fruity, quite powerful mead. It's very, very strong. It's more akin to a spirit than a honey wine. But it is quite fruity and spiced. It'll go down well for a first drink.
Mm-hmm.
While Quill has been returning to town, everyone, you have been invited wholeheartedly by the denizens of the town who have stayed awake this late into the party, and they encourage you to enjoy yourselves with abandon. A lot of the tables closest to the town hall in the centre are moved away, and a lot of the lattice... Sorry. I think that might have been part of a peanut. A peanut, not a penis. So, as you are... the tables have been moved away from the town hall in the centre. A lot of the walls of the town hall are like beautiful lattice works of wood, huge, very thick pieces of wood. These have been lifted up and out of the way, so that the entire bottom floor now is almost completely see-through. You can see through at any angle from one side to the other, and it is ringed just by candlelights and lanterns and people drinking and rejoicing at being free and being alive. Bards begin to play, and in all four corners of the square, different types of music don't quite intertwine, but you have a slow, joyous song, happy fiddle, and dances break out. The discordant joy of the different speeds and the style of dancing sweeps you all up. Dice, the confectioner, approaches you and she holds out her hand. Might I please have this dance, mademoiselle?
Yes. That would be great.
Merci.
Tomorrow I will owe you quite a lot of money, so we should dance tonight.
I did legitimately think she was going to ask you for coin.
Yeah, Madame, you owe me 200 gold. Jesus Christ, how many sweets did you give out?
And she takes you, and you're swept up by the crowd, all dancing around the central town hall. Ace, Oriana, You sit with Gwen at a table that the rest of everyone has seems to have left this table kind of separate. It hasn't been dragged out of the way, but a lot of other tables have kind of ring it, or maybe like there's a semicircle around it before they're all the rest of the tables are much closer together to each other. This one is kind of set aside, and fine food is brought out for everyone. Guinevere turns to you, Oriana. I think I should address the people, the crowd.
Do you have to?
Oui.
Okay. Don't make a big fuss of us.
Not about you.
Oh, thank God.
No. Everyone currently residing here on Earth with the protection of this town has been invited to the celebration. Everyone here feels safe enough to attend, apart from 2 people. And she gestures up at the town hall, up at the 2nd floor. I invited them to come down and make merry and see if they could distract themselves for a while, but they are terrified of... And she just gestures to the crowd. Perhaps with good reason. But you and I both know, all 3 of us know, that everyone in this crowd, if they are told the truth, has the capacity to understand and forgive. No?
That was worth a try.
Excusez-moi.
Go for it.
Excusez-moi, I will bring them down. If this goes wrong, perhaps you could help?
We'll step in.
Merci. And she leaves to head back upstairs for a moment. At that moment, Quill emerges from the crowd. Still sipping at his drink, absolutely dumbfounded that it does not appear to be some kind of fey potion.
Hello, stranger.
Good evening.
Looks like you got yourself a drink.
Yes, I wanted to speak to my friend from Avalon, but instead he sent a representative.
And you drank something they handed you?
They made it clear that if I didn't learn how to enjoy myself, that I wasn't going to be welcome as a visitor.
Ah, well in that case, I push another bottle towards him.
Thank you.
I light my pipe in a bit if you want to have a go on that.
No, I'm okay. There seems to be a rather celebratory atmosphere today.
Yes. Celebrating everything that's happened, I think.
Has anyone mentioned to you any elves mentioned to you any visions that they may have had?
And honestly, I've not really had much time to speak with them. With all the other things that have been going on.
Interesting.
On their way down.
Guinevere's gone to ask if they'd like to join the party and explain to the humans that these are good elves and what's happened so that they can start to integrate.
Ironically, I think possibly this sanctuary for freed humans might have to
Expand.
well, I think they might have to offer some protection to such elves as stay in the region, although it seems some are going on something of a pilgrimage.
Well, on that note, and I'll fill Quill in on everything that was discussed in the Discord,
Okay.
the magical Discord.
Hmm.
So, yeah, there's a lot happening.
Gracia.
Yes. Luckily, we were heading there anyway. Are you okay?
I'm torn. I left home as you know to help right a terrible wrong when I discovered it, and I think we've made real progress towards that.
Massive amount of progress.
Yes, but not without cost. And while none of the progress could have been achieved without the three of you, I'm the one who incurred all that cost.
What
As
cost?
the the elves of the Empire, they're lost now. They're adrift. I mean, you saw those two from the farm nearby. I saw others in the forest. They think they need to make their way to this old man in a tower. I think I told you about my last vision from the book.
Yeah. They'll find their way, Quill.
They're 13, Oriana. They don't have any memories between now and their 13th birthdays. They're children, and they're loose in the world. They don't know anything. You should have seen, oh my god, the tent. You should have seen the tent that they made for themselves. It was
At this
fine.
moment, by the way, sorry, that the song ends, and you are brought back, Dice, around after much joyous dancing with the confectioner, and she kisses you twice on both cheeks, and once very quickly on the lips, and then blushes, and then runs off to join another dance.
Harlot. They'll find their way, Quill.
They won't.
And we will help them. That's the whole point of setting up this council, and
Yes,
Guinevere's going to help, and
I appreciate all of that. In the meantime, they're going to die out on the road. You didn't see it. If they have one night of bad rain, they're fucked.
and that's why we need to make sure that the humans treat them better than they ever treated the humans, and will help them.
True, agreed. And I believe that most will. But
Need to spread the news.
I mean, I'm sure there will be some with a justified taste for vengeance, but they're not going to be driven by an evil entity from.
No.
Well, I don't know what the nothing is from.
I know it's scary, Quill, and what they are going through is terrifying. I mean, thinking that Guinevere is able to what she is able to do now, that there could be someone accidentally setting something on fire, and I've been there. I've done that. I sneezed and almost burnt the cabin down once. I was lucky I had Granny around.
I'm wondering if my best course is to stay in the Empire for a little while and help where I can.
I mean, that decision's up to you, but would like to keep you with us.
I know, and I adore you all, and I enjoy traveling with you, and I know that wherever you go, there will be immense good to be achieved. But I have some atoning to do. I have some stuff to make up to a lot of people, and they're they're a little bit more in need of guidance, I think. I think that's something I can.
So
I-
maybe speak with your auntie, and maybe with father, and see if they can think of somewhere where you're needed to do something like that to help.
I wonder. What I thought about is, so the vision of the old man in the tower. Everything else in my book so far has been something I've eventually visited. You know, a place that I've experienced, and I wonder if the right thing for me to do is to help as many of the elves get there as I can. You know, travel with them and help them to learn how to defend themselves.
Do you know how to do that, pretty boy? Without magic?
Better
Yeah?
than they do. I've slept rough a few times, Ariana.
Passing out after a night of drinking is not sleeping rough.
I made my way from home to the train without any assistance. You forget there was a time I adventured a little while before I met you all.
That's true. Well, if it's what you really want to do, we'll miss you.
And I you, but I won't be far away.
No, I can contact you anywhere, anytime.
That's true. It's
It's an
I'd like
admirable...
to. I hope I can rejoin you after a while, but they're like my little children now. You know, all of them.
Oh, you're
a
going
whole-
to be busy.
a whole nation of helpless little elves that I owe something to.
And I suppose if someone's going to teach them magic, a wizard is better than a sorcerer.
I don't even
You've
know
got
how you would teach. Your teaching style appears to be along the lines of just do magic.
I mean, that's all I have to do. It just happens. I don't understand how you need a book.
Yeah.
This whole thing of sitting there going, no, I have to pick out which spells I'm going to use for today. I just don't get it. Just do the spell.
How did you even learn that? It doesn't matter.
I just think it and it happens.
But there's the words and the gestures and what did you just? This is completely again besides the point.
I'm thinking, I want to do this. What makes sense? Well, this movement, I'm probably saying this. Woohoo! And it happens.
As you do that, does like fire gout from your hands?
Yeah.
Mini
Absolutely.
pyro show.
Absolutely infuriating. I've had to work so hard. I study every day.
I mean, if it makes you feel better, sometimes I do that, and then that happens, and then something else happens. So.
Oh yeah, you are ringed in fire right now.
Yeah.
Only for 6 seconds though, just fine.
Your the chair appears to be slightly scorched.
It's what's it called? There's that art style where you torch the surface of wood to get it to do that black crackling effect. It's that's what I'm going for right now.
Pyrography, I believe.
Hmm. Summoned a robot a couple of times.
I remember.
And hey, like, I'm trained with magic, and I still rode down through a mine inside a mimic. So I didn't. I had an inkling the minecart was a mimic, and I just stopped caring at that point.
Yes, but you have so many stories. I haven't heard all of these.
Well, plenty of drinks, and I think we'll get a lot of these stories out.
It is at this point that you all hear a bell begin to chime. It rings
this is
out.
going to be good.
It rings out over the crowd, and everyone hushes and turns towards the town hall. And you see, high above, on one of the balconies that you spied when you were upstairs earlier that day, you see the Guinevere walk out. There are candles and braziers lit on the balcony, so she is quite easy to see from the for the crowd below. And she raises her hands, and everyone quiets to listen to what she has to say. Bonjour, bonne nuit, everyone. It is a beautiful night to celebrate life and freedom. We do not, as we are all very hardworking. Some more than the rest of us. Jean-Luc? And she kind of looks, and there's this old man who kind of hides his face behind a tankard, and everyone has a little bit of a chuckle at his expense, and he smiles back at her. But it is nice that sometimes we can still find time to have celebration. Not in anyone in particular's name, but just because we are alive and free. However, I have news for you, and also a request. The Empire has changed. The freedom that we have secured for ourselves through hard work and strife, this is now a freedom that perhaps can be shared by everyone. There will be times of trouble, there will be violence, there will be fighting. But the Empire is changing. Shortly ago, not very long ago at all, perhaps 2 nights ago, some dear friends of mine made sure, or were able to share the freedom from slavery that you all have with those who would have called themselves your slavers. The elves of the Empire. I know this is shocking, and it will be hard for a lot of you to believe, even less forgive. But for thousands of years, the elves of the Empire have been a slave to a magical force, and they did not know. Now, through the actions of some dear friends of mine, they have been freed of this slavery, just as I helped free you all. They are lost, like children. They have very few memories of anything past their 13th birthday, and as such, are terrified. You hear a shout from the crowd. What have they got to be scared of? And she looks at the voice. You? They have lived as if in a nightmare in which they did atrocious things to people, to you, to your race. They are terrified of your retribution, because for them, it was a dream. But they realize it was real, and they are, my friend, children. I would ask, knowing what you all know about how dear life is, and about how dear freedom is, and about what it was like to be a slave, I would ask that you show the same compassion that you show to every member of this township, to 2 new and very dear friends of mine. And she gestures below her, and you see, being led out, a human guard 4 human guards surrounding them. The 2 elves. They've cleaned themselves up. They look rested. But they are clinging to each other for dear life, terrified of what could happen. The guards are leading them not straight towards you, but they are getting closer to you than the rest of the crowd. They're getting closer to the table you 4 are sitting at.
I want to get up and head over to them and just pull them both into a hug.
Okay.
I would also like to come out of the crowd and go over and make sure they see a human, greet the 2 elves, and shake the man's hand to give the lady a hug. Yeah.
Okay.
Ace will do the same.
Okay.
And while I hug them very quickly, I'd like to say, it's going to be okay. All right. Give them a hug.
As you split apart then, so the rest of the crowd can see them once more, the young girl, or the young lady, the confectioner, and the young boy that you helped, Ace, the skinny little blacksmith, both step out of the crowd from different directions. The young girl walks up to them, drink in each of her hand, and hands one to the woman, one to the man, and nods and smiles. The young boy comes out with nothing in his hands, but bows deeply and offers his hand to the woman and asks for a dance. And ever so slowly, the music begins again before picking up into a lively jig. And more people come forward, and they themselves begin to dance around the couple, and they are taken off into the main part of the crowd as the dancing continues and more people get involved. And moments later, Guinevere comes back downstairs. Merci. Thank you all for helping. However, they have decided that after the celebration, which I hope will continue to go well, and you can see she's keeping an eye on them in the crowd off in the distance. They have decided they will go on this
pilgrimage.
Oui, the dream pilgrimage. I have not had these dreams. I do not know what they are talking about, but it would appear they both have shared the same dream.
Would you guide them, Quill?
Yes.
Wait, where's Quill going?
On a pilgrimage.
The dream these elves have had, it's of the last vision I saw in the book. The vision of the old man at in the tower. They feel called to find him, and I'm concerned about a bunch of effectively 13-year-olds with no life experience being out in the world unsupervised, unprepared for any dangers, and truth be told, I'm curious about what this old man is all about. So I'm gonna go with them.
It's going to act as a guide.
Well,
Protector.
you speak Elvish, which is a good start, because of them may not know languages. You
True.
have experience of the world. You're friendly with humans.
He's a wizard.
I was saying to Oriana, I feel like they're, in a very odd sense, I feel like they're sort of my children. And in the same way as one wouldn't throw one's children out into the wide and dangerous world with no attempt to prepare them for what they're going to face, I don't feel comfortable doing that.
I think you might be taking too much responsibility.
We certainly
Perhaps.
didn't get
Yes, maybe, perhaps I am, but they're, they need someone to help them, and
I think it's a righteous thing to do.
I think that it is very noble and a good choice. You said yourself that you haven't always made good choices or cared, and it's nice to see you with your own mission, if you like. And it doesn't mean that you can't rejoin us in the future.
I fully...
Maybe with an army of elves.
Nice.
Perhaps.
I think that, it's probably a blessing for the elves that they don't remember everything that time.
Agreed. I'm also a little... Sometimes that kind of thing can wear off. I'm a little concerned about what happens if they start to get some of those horrible memories back.
They might know how to start a fire better.
Perhaps. Although I think most of them haven't got a lot of experience in looking after themselves in that time. I think mostly they've had people to do that for them.
I'm sure you'll be there for them regardless.
Yeah. I don't think it will be long. But I feel uncomfortable with just leaving them to wander. And I feel uncomfortable with leaving the bounds of the Empire where I've wrought such such cataclysmic change.
Well, we'll fetch you something nice from Gracia.
Oh please!
Probably.
I've heard nice things about the pottery.
I was going to say probably some sort of pot.
I was thinking wine, but okay.
I was thinking an amphora, something like that.
Something in the Temple of Dionysus.
Ooh.
Everyone knows the best wine comes from Rome.
Oh, tell the Grecians that's why Pearl's not coming. Piss off all the Grecians immediately.
Even though that was a private conversation, there are a couple of people next to you at that comment, like a couple of locals who are like, you fucking what, mate?
We literally sat on a vineyard and just say...
No. If I hear anyone say anything, I'd like to turn around and go, of course, we could be proven wrong with more wine. We'll keep trying it and find out, huh? With a big smile.
They immediately bring over bottles of wine and put them down on the table in front of you, going, try that then.
I'm extremely open to being proved wrong.
Oh, we're about to be white girl drunk.
I do owe a certain amount of loyalty to the family business.
That's true. And, Quill, you don't actually owe anyone anything, and that goes for the elves too. But if you're doing it because it's the right thing to do, not because you feel you have to, then that's a really good reason. But don't do it because you feel you have to take care of all of these people. It's not possible, and it'll drive you crazy.
I think I'm doing it because it's where I feel I can do the most good.
That seems like a good reason. I'll miss you, though.
And I'll miss you too. I'll never be quite the hero that the three of you are.
I would like to
just freed all of the elves.
I'm going to smack Quill over the hat.
It wasn't. I would say that wasn't particularly heroic.
Oh my god, it was so heroic. You have basically freed thousands of people from slavery, you absolute muppet.
Well,
And their dead ancestors.
And their
Yeah.
dead ancestor, yeah.
and cast them out into a world they're unprepared for.
But with the understanding that they're under their own control,
Yes.
that's amazing.
Yes.
If you think about it, that's how we
And you're
start.
going to help them with the prophecy.
I'm not saying that I'd take it back. I'm just saying that it's not an unambiguous good that I've done here.
Look, I will say, whether you think it's ambiguous or not, I certainly don't, but that's my opinion, not yours. But Niklaus Rath is very jealous. I mean, really, very jealous of what you've
so
accomplished.
jealous, it's so funny.
He's really petty
Right.
about the whole thing. He wishes he'd done it, and like that he wasn't involved in freeing all the elves has just really pissed him off. And Natasha keeps leaving notes in his office, annoying him, being like, "Didn't really need you, did they?"
I sincerely hope that at some point I can run into him and rub that in a little.
Good.
If you could just go, "Oh, it was so easy as well," you know, the most convenient.
Just
Easy.
casually mention that you did it on accident.
Truthfully, it was a little easy. I
I was
just,
like,
I effectively just broke something.
Uh-huh.
so
Anyway, we'll leave that till the morning. Tonight, there
a party.
is... Yes, there's a party. There's a band. There is copious amounts of alcohol. There's some very pretty faces.
I'm going to pick up 2 really good-sized glasses of wine and go, "And dancing," and disappear off again. Like, Dice is having the time of her life tonight, so she's going, "Dance!"
And pouring more drinks for everyone.
Bri, do I see Quill's auntie here?
As you begin to look around, yes. She is walking towards you. She is holding in one hand a bottle. It is the glass is blown in a very different style to all of the bottles around here, and you know it to be one of the finest of your family's wines.
I'll certainly approach Auntie Knife.
Nephew,
It appears someone has managed to source a wine of actual decent quality around here.
that is very rude to our guests, Quill.
Hosts.
Their wine is... Oh, to our hosts, I apologise. I've had quite a lot of this.
I've been touching my own reserve.
Their wine is quite lovely.
Yes, but it can't compare to that of our home.
Their white could. Their red, not a chance.
I mean, yes, but who willingly drinks white?
Oriana's there with a glass of it, like,
Dice fully just walked off with 2 glasses of white wine.
You can't get white girl wasted on red wine. That's just a fact.
no. That's wine mom wasted on red wine.
Yeah.
You...
That's when you start sending minion memes. Cobalt memes!
Oh,
Look at Cobalt memes!
You get Bri drunk.
knew that was coming.
Where's the
You-
graveyard?
If
Look,
the shoe fits.
you look like you have something to say to me, Quill.
I wanted to apologise again about Busy.
There is no apology needed, Quill. I will do my mourning in private. Your actions have helped a great many people, as our family tends to. His actions would not have. They would have condemned them.
I know, and
And by your suggestion, you made certain that his legacy was giving his life so his sister would live. That is
Yes.
the busy claw I will remember.
I'm glad. Ultimately, I think it takes more I think it takes more to be courageous when that is not one's natural inclination. And busy certainly was courageous in this case.
Courage cannot exist where there is no cowardice.
Exactly. What have you heard of this migration that some of the elves are undergoing?
Well, I was going to join them, but it would appear they already have an escort.
I hope to be of some use to them. They're well, truth be told, Auntie, they're hopeless. They don't know how to make a tent. They can barely make a fire. It's a dangerous world out there for someone who has never lifted a finger in their own service.
Then it is perhaps a good thing our great-grandfather, your great-great-grandfather, made certain that all of the children of the family would camp, no matter how much we hated it as children, to at least learn basic survival skills. For the benefits of chat, Quill's survival skill is actually higher than a commoner. It is. It's got a plus.
He's relatively Bear Grylls.
Yeah, in comparison to a commoner, yes.
Yeah.
If you are traveling north, which I believe they are called in that direction,
So I understand. Yes.
I would at least enjoy traveling with you for a while, nephew. I am on my way to Paras.
That would be wonderful, Auntie.
The way our ships are moving at the moment, walking might actually be quicker.
It must have been a long time since you've been out on the open road.
It has been a while, yes, but perhaps that is what these old bones need.
Well, I know I'd feel safer with you to look after me.
No. You will respect your elders. You will be looking after me. I will travel in relative comfort. You are younger and a lot more sprightly than I, Quill.
Yes, okay, I understand, Auntie.
And of course, while I have already forgiven you and confirmed that there is no apologies necessary, I'm sure you still feel you have a lot of making up to do.
I do indeed.
I believe I will quite enjoy our journey north.
You're not going to make me carry you on my back, are you?
No.
Okay.
I wonder if Guinevere has a palanquin.
Auntie, I am many things, but I am not strong.
I joke. But I will join you on your journey. We start tomorrow at dawn.
Yes.
They wish to leave while most are still asleep.
Understandable.
Go back to your friends. We will have much time to speak on the journey. And also, I enjoy this music. And she kind of sachets off into the crowd, bopping along to the music.
Rihanna's pulled out her tambourine now. It's like,
Okay. And so, as the night carries on into the very late hours, Guinevere decides that her administrative duties are done for the evening, and ignoring any other call to responsibility, wishes to spend the rest of the night dancing with Oriana and Dice, if Dice will have her.
I'm quite happy to dance.
Okay. Ace, what would you like to do? Is there anything anyone would like to do, in fact, before the night draws to a close?
Just dancing and having a good time.
Yeah, he's just dancing with a tambourine and going for it.
Okay.
I think
If Philippe is still around, then Ace would like to catch up to see how it went with the pitch.
Quill get
Or
a
is
load.
it-
Crunk.
Sorry, Ace, if who's still around?
Philippe.
If the young blacksmith is still around.
Mm-hmm.
After he took the elven woman dancing, you don't see him for the rest of the night.
Then is everyone just is everyone already like gone from where we were sat doing the like announcement, or are they? Okay.
You're all in the relative same area, the dance floor next to you.
Yeah.
But
So Ace was gonna say something, but if everyone's already dispersed, that's fine.
well, everyone is in the crowd, or you lot.
Yeah, the crowd.
The crowd is pretty much being taken up by the energy of the dance, so they're just.
It's fine.
Or he does eventually light a pipe and start handing it around.
Ace will in this.
Look, it pairs really well with this.
Quill is kind of try and get a bunch of the younger people together and teach them some of the formal dances he learned in his upbringing,
Okay.
but in a very like mocking the formality of it kind of way, you know.
Roll me a
Love the
performance check.
I love the juxtaposition of Quill doing that, and then there's Oriana in the background with like a scarf and a tambourine, just twerking it. Like a prostitute belly dancing and twerking.
Performance check. Yes, I can do those. I'm brilliant at performing. I don't actually have my character sheet open. Give me a second. I didn't even need to say anything for the first half.
Everybody roll initiative.
You're lucky I've got a dice.
As punishment, everyone roll initiative.
I would need to do a Constitution saving throw first, please.
That's a 10.
Okay.
Can I assist?
With the
If
10,
you're helping.
in the beginning,
There was the word.
you actually try and teach them the formality, the formal dance, each step as it goes. You have not done these dances in quite a while, and with the amount you've had to drink starting to affect you, maybe a little, you notice everyone around you not really following on, but laughing. And you notice yourself and you begin to chuckle along with them. And it is in seeing the joy your drunken teaching of these dances has brought that you start to exaggerate them and start to take the mick. And everyone begins to join you. And all at once, these wonderful formal dances have turned into fantastic drunken jigs. And everyone seems to be putting a little bit of a drunken flair on each one of the steps. And everyone has a great time. I would like everyone who's drinking to roll me a con save, please.
Okay.
And let's just say none of you are within 10 feet of Ace.
I was just about to ask.
None of you are within 10 feet of Ace.
Oh, that's really good.
One save.
19.
Okay.
I rolled an 18, so
28.
save is +7 to that.
Okay.
It's 26.
I had a 21.
Okay.
We're
Very
pretty
disappointed.
No, I'm not.
good constitution on us.
He's livid.
So while the drink flows freely, and especially for those who partake in Oriana's pipe as she shares it around,
Which Quill absolutely does.
yeah, your constitutions, after being through so much, facing so many threats, and emerging victorious, you have become hardier, able to enjoy the pleasures of life. more freely and for a lot longer. And while none of you get absolutely blind drunk to the point where perhaps tomorrow would have seen you all with maybe a level of exhaustion, it is a very, very good night had by all. Before eventually Guinevere, when it is very late, looks at you, Oriana, cocks an eye, and says, "Am I going to bed alone?"
No, I fling it over my shoulder and carry her upstairs.
Roll me a strength check.
Fine. Where is my strength?
Top of the.
Yeah, it's a straight roll. 18?
18?
Oof!
Okay. You do manage. You
She's
absolutely.
buoyed by her sex crazedness.
Yeah, you absolutely manage to fling Guinevere up over one shoulder and carry her upstairs to her room.
Yep. Damn right I do.
And the night eventually then draws to a close for everyone. And everyone sleeps dreamlessly.
Oh my god, it's a miracle.
The next morning, Quill,
Mm-hmm.
you are awoken. Something shakes you gently. And as your eyes open, you see your aunt standing there next to your bed.
Mm-hmm.
Nephew? It is
Auntie.
time, I believe, to go. And you can see the sun beginning to rise through the slats.
Indeed it is.
I'm sure 4 hours is enough. Oui?
Who could ask for more?
And you realise you went to bed about 2 o'clock in the morning. Dawn was 4 hours. 4 hours later, you were sure at that point while drinking that was a brilliant idea and there'd be no issues whatsoever.
I can't imagine the decadence of anyone who would require more than 4 hours of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Quill falls asleep.
You feel a splash of freezing cold water on your face. It's not a cup. It's not thrown on your face. It's as if she's put the ends of her fingers in a cup of water and flicked them at your face.
The noise I made stands.
When you are ready, if you have goodbyes to say,
Mm-hmm.
I will be downstairs with the people we are to escort. Quill,
Yes, Auntie, yes.
you leave your friends short-handed.
Yes. Yes, I feel somewhat guilty.
They're
extremely capable.
They are going to Grisha, yes?
Gracia, yes. But I believe they have some stops to make in the mountains first.
There is one who helped me on my journey here.
Mm-hmm.
He has spent some time, I believe, in Grisha. He has worked with us in some capacity.
Okay. If there's someone who can help them in the difficult journeys ahead, I'm sure they'd be very interested to meet him.
I will send them a message and tell them to look out for your friends.
Thank you.
I will be downstairs. And she leaves
Oh.
the room. and
I'll
goes
be down
downstairs.
presently. I just need to wash my face and. fully falls asleep.
This time there is a glass of water thrown at you.
Alright. Coming.
And your aunt leaps the room.
And Quill will in fact get up and get to work on getting ready, getting everything packed up.
Okay. Everyone else roll me a perception check with disadvantage.
Perception check, disadvantage. Yeah. Well, Bri, I rolled an 18 and a 2. A 3, sorry, I'm lying, and I've got a +6, so 9.
I got 8.
I rolled a 9 with a +5, so that'll be 14.
14.
Okay. None of you hear Quill gargling or shouting or his protestations at being woken up by his aunt. And you will remain sleeping.
Sounds
I
right.
wouldn't describe them as protestations. I think I was woken very graciously.
Quill, what would you like to do after preparing to leave? You pack everything up?
Yeah, I think about getting everybody together to say goodbye, but then I remember that Oriana is with her ladyship and is and probably not keen to be disturbed, and I remembered that everyone was up just as late as I was, so I think better of it. I think instead I will leave a little note that just says, "It's been an absolute pleasure, and I hope to travel with you all again soon. Yours in heroism, Eleanor Subtle Quill of the Fragrant Peaks clan."
Right, is Dice in the room with Quill while this is happening?
You all got
it's
separate
different,
rooms.
In which case, this is what Dice is doing.
Yeah. It's way too early for anyone else to be awake, I think.
No chance.
Yeah.
You're all out cold.
And then he'll set off with his auntie.
Okay. So, the rest of you then come to wake. A while afterwards, very late morning, as the sounds of the town around you eventually stir you from your slumber. Oriana, Guinevere is already gone. Dressed, because she has work to do today, even if you do not. The rest of you, as you come out, there is a cold breakfast that's been left. Meats, cheeses, bread, butter.
I'm eating leftover pastries out of the bag.
Okay.
And
No
I put them
problem.
out for my friends as well.
Okay. However, with that breakfast, there is a note,
I read the note.
and it is from Quill.
I don't even notice there is a note I'm eating.
I read it out loud.
Okay.
Better than a fuss, maybe?
Oh, I knew he was going early.
I don't remember that conversation entirely.
I don't think you remember much of last night at all.
Rude. I was aware.
How's
I
your
think-
candy girl? How's your candy girl?
Good at dancing.
Mmm.
And can hold her wine. Mostly.
It's all the sugar.
Apart from that bit where she fell off a table.
No, that was you.
Also, probably the fact that she lives in a vineyard.
Yeah. It could
Yeah.
well have been me who fell off the table. That explains this weird bruise on my... I think Quill will be happier if they feel like they're doing something. He's doing something to contribute.
Yeah, it's still sad though.
Yeah.
They'll be back. He'll be back. Fuck me.
He will. But he's got his own shit to do now.
Also, if it makes him happier, then it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Quill comes from a different place to us, and
This was never... What we're doing was never his mess to get involved in anyway.
No, and then he made a mess he felt he had to be involved in.
Yeah.
Which I get. We'll carry on.
The question is, are we going to audition people for a fourth role now, or are we just going to pick up a stray again?
I think it very much depends if we find someone who wants to come along, or if
It's in.
we wait for
Definitely
Quill to
prefer
come
the
back.
happy person over the depressing sack of rags.
No more saxifrags. I already miss Quill. I do not really miss sepsis.
No, I don't miss sepsis.
I do in a strange way.
Oh, yeah, alright, fair enough for you.
I mean, I miss... No, I don't really miss sepsis. I'm sorry, I tried really hard, but every time it came to saving humans or saving our own skin, it was always save our own skin.
I
So,
understand.
are we staying here, or are we going to leave this little piece of heaven?
Maybe we can stay one more day?
Would you stay another day?
I think the sooner we can get to Gracia to get that message of peace.
Well, look, let's be practical here. We've got a load of resupplying to do for the boat, and making sure that's sorted. We wanted to do some modifications to make it look slightly less Empire. We could have a look at least painting it today.
Are you just finding excuses not to leave?
No, we do need to resupply. The gnomes ate everything.
I imagine it's been resupplied by now.
I don't know, we should probably go and find out.
We can go check.
I also owe Candy Girl a load of money.
Yes, you should pay your tab at the... Who has a tab at a sweet shop?
Yeah. All of these pastries were free, and I tried to make them take money, and they wouldn't. You tried the green one. It's got nuts in it.
Yeah, okay. Is that pistachio?
Yeah, it's so good.
Nice.
I miss well.
Try the green stuff, it's delicious.
You got it.
Right. Well, if we are going to stay another day, we should probably help out.
Help out, do what we can, tidy up from the party. At least, I just want to feel like we didn't have to run out immediately. For a change, for once. We could leave this evening. I don't mind,
Good.
I want to make sure we've done everything, but I thought you might like one more night of peace.
Yeah. Maybe. Let's see how the day goes.
Okay. Party made up of Greg's discount.
As you all then go off and get involved in the work of the day, rearranging the town after the party, and sorting out your ship, wondering what may become of your friend and whether you will ever actually see them again. Quill.
Hello.
The elves are slow. They are not used to a lot of physical exertion, and last night took a lot out of them. However, they make okay time.
You're
It
level
is-
13 adventuring with level 1s.
It comes to maybe just before lunch when they wish for a break, for a bite to eat. And you find yourself then just at the foothills of a small mountain. And you know to continue north, at least in safety, you'll have to go around this mountain. So as a small fire is prepared by your aunt, which she's very good at, and a small meal is cooked, you sit a little away from the rest of them, looking back at Toulouse, the last sight you will have of this town before you lose sight of your friends, for a while at least. You feel a familiar weight grow in the bag at your hip.
I will open the bag, work out what it is that I can feel there.
The book arrives at your hand, but it is different. It is much thicker. New pages have been added. Not just new writing has appeared, new pages have been added. The book is almost twice as thick as it was previously. And while on the front, it still says, at least you have been able to translate, that it says the Diary of Sir Kai of the Round Table, Knight of Arthur. On the spine now, it says something else. Roll me an Arcana check.
It's going to be a decent number. 23.
It is in Draconic. It is the language of magic that you have studied for years, but archaic. In an alphabet or dialect not written at least in at least 2 millennia. Not since the time of Sir Kai. And as you look, the writing along the spine takes form, and to your eye in the common tongue it reads, The Chronicles of Nidum. You flick through the page until your last vision, huge gap in the writing, and then a new chapter. And as you begin to read, you start to flow through the mist until eventually you are hovering above a wooden clearing. In that wooden clearing, sitting carefree, are a young tiefling girl, a young human girl with bushy red hair, a young, quite strapping blacksmith's child, and off in the corner, away from those 3 teenagers and their gaggle of humans that they are, or human children they are looking after, is a sack of rags with a reptilian taste to it. As you are watching from above, floating up high, you see a small boy on a horse ride in, being chased by 2 direwolves. And you see the tiefling girl, the human girl with the huge mane of red hair, and the blacksmith's child turn with no fear, no thought of their own survival, but they jump into action. Heroes who in a moment decided that upon seeing someone in need, all they would do is act. You are suddenly back out of the vision. There is a lot more of the book than you have ever seen before, filled in with writing. Your journey north as you read this book and experience all of these visions is not going to be a boring one. And for now, I think we will leave session 85 there. If that's okay with everyone.
Yeah.
Cool. So, yeah, session 85. Here we go. Cool. Done it.
Yep.
Oh, we finished.
Yes.
Yep.
I know
went
it's
to let the
early.
dog out.
I know it's early, but we started half an hour earlier anyway, did we?
Hour.
Hour earlier.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
We started an hour earlier.
Why are people crying? What did I miss? Why are people crying?
Quill's book has now started showing the chapters starting with us, so it showed the day the direwolves attacked.
Oh,
I
that's
was going to
cute.
learn about our story before he met us.
That'll be interesting when Quill comes back.
Yeah.
A lot of those pages are about to get X-rated.
That was
We just fade to black written at the bottom of a bunch of pages.
Then Oriana said, "Let's go."
I thought Quill's last exit. No, sorry, Greg's last exit was because of a book, and it was evil and cowardly, right? So I thought this exit could be because of a book, but it could be kind of cool.
I like that a lot.
I hope I
really
did
nice
alright with
there.
that. But yes,
Oh, that's a lovely way to leave it.
Horrible.
please, obviously, if you have enjoyed this one, join us next time for session 86, in which, unless he fancies taking a break and leaving the rest of us to it, Greg might introduce another character.
Who knows, eh?
Or a temporary character.
But yes,
We'll see.
I hope
We'll
everyone's
see.
enjoyed. I can't wait. Maybe, depending obviously on, again, life events, if everyone wants to do another midweek one this week, we will. Possibly Thursday, just so...
But it is half term. We do have all 4 kids, so we'll see.
Yeah. That's completely fair.
Yours go to bed like angels, and mine are going to stay up till midnight regardless of what I do. So if I just ignore them, they won't come down. It's fine.
That's true. We can probably do it, to be honest.
Yeah, so it's fine. But yes, if possible, Thursday, so Jen can watch. Because obviously they can't watch on the Wednesday because they have their own D&D session and have to catch up. But it's much better if everyone can be here live, right?
Someone who we know loves to watch.
Yes.
Can't provide for everyone. It's not possible.
But yes, if we can do a midweek session, we will. If not, obviously, it'll be next Sunday. But I love that. So yeah. Anyway, we love you guys. Take care, stay safe, look after each other.
Oh, and tune into Heavyweight Gaming tomorrow for our other campaign, When Glory is Not Enough.
I completely forgot. Oh my god, I get to play tomorrow. Yes.
Yeah, you do.
Just thought it was important to mention that since Bryce seemed to have forgotten.
Yes. Join us tomorrow for episode 2, which I've been assured, everyone will level up. Can't see myself surviving that long, I'll be honest.
Can I touch it?
I'll be rolling a new character, I swear to God. But yes.
And
please.
it's now available on podcast on Spotify under Heavyweight RPG. So if anyone doesn't like watching live for whatever reason, you can catch up on When Glory is Not Enough on Spotify. And eventually the Chronicles of Nidum back catalogue will be added as well. But there's like 80 episodes, and I don't have free time.
85, Mel.
So you're going to have to wait.
We've literally just done 85.
Shut up, Brian.
Why'd you have to guesstimate? We've literally just finished episode 85. Right.
Yeah.
But yes, take care, stay safe. We love you guys. And we will see you next time.
Bye.
Good night,
Bye.
everybody.